So Harrison, how does it feel to be back on the bike here at Ellough Park?
Good.
And how do you feel like your seasons went so far?
Well, I was leading the Pro and Elite Championship coming out of Lid, and on the Friday test day at Landau, I broke my wrist.
And are you feeling 100% for this round, 100% fitness? Is your wrist better?
No, not really.
So are you having to ride around your wrist and try to ride a bike slightly different?
Yeah.
And so with your injury, what is your aim for this weekend?
Podiums.
Just championship points at the moment?
Yeah.
And finally, what is your objective for the rest of the season? What's your end goal?
Well, because I missed Landau, probably a second place.
Well, I certainly hope you get that. Good luck for the rest of the season.
Thank you.
So we're here with Mathew Thomas in the AC40 Pros. Mathew, round 3 of the championship, still early doors, but how are you feeling about it?
I'm alright. This track is quite flowing. Like down there, it's like there's a massive patch of fuel going down around the corner, and it's hard to miss it because it's like there's sawdust on there. So on my line, I need to go on it, and I'm ruining my line now.
Oh, that's a shame. Hopefully you can sort that out. It's a very, very fast track here at Ellough. Is it a very physical track as well? Is it something you think that riders are going to actually struggle with getting tired maybe over the races?
Nah, not really. The problem is with Byron and Sam is faster than me. I need to try more harder to catch up with them.
That's fair enough. But do you think you can beat them maybe at the end of the weekend?
I'll try my hardest, but I don't think so.
Well, best of luck anyways. Thank you very much for joining us, Mathew, and good luck out there.
Thanks.
Now it is time for race 1 for the AC40 Pros. As Lewis said, it's in theory the last opportunity for these riders on their air-cooled Minimotos before they go onto the liquid cools, but of course you can enter your air-cooled into the liquid cool class if you so wish to do so. And it is time to see what is going to happen in race 1. Season so far dominated by Byron JOHNSON, the younger of the 2 Johnson brothers, who has been pretty phenomenal, I think it is safe to say, so far this year as the riders head out onto the grid. He's just been fantastic. Byron JOHNSON, it's a tough class. He's taken 4 race wins, a clean sweep last time at Landau as well, leading the way in the championship by 61 points to Mathew Thomas. And this is after, he was even in the top 10 last year. He was actually, I apologize, he was in 5th. But he was last out of the riders that completed all of the season. Granted that was because of his age, it was his first year in the higher category as well. He's still a very, very young lad. And Byron JOHNSON, he's come out into this season, obviously done a lot of work over the winter, and he's come out of the gate absolutely flying. He's sitting on pole position again today. Can he continue his winning streak from Landau? We'll have to wait and find out. But again, a big grid of names to look forward to here in this AC40 Pros class. Lots of very, very strong riders out there, and lots of action about to get underway.
Yeah, Byron JOHNSON, of course, starting this race from pole position from Sam Gardner. Harrison Day returning from breaking his wrist in 3rd place, starting the 2nd row of the grid. Mathew Thomas in 4th with Jensen BISHOP in 5th. Luke Hall in 6th place with Chloe GLEESON, one of the many female riders that we have here at FAB, will be starting 7th with LINDQUIST in 8th. Oliver Hall, who had another ride on the Mini GP 50 yesterday, will be starting in 9th with Callum MAXWELL, running out the top 10. George AKERMAN in 11th and Dylan TOERIEN in 12th. Rex Austin 13th, and Olly O'GORMAN, of course brother of Casey O'Gorman, rounding out the grid in 14th position.
Absolutely. Byron JOHNSON once again on pole position, but it is close between himself and Sam Gardner in P2. Only a couple tenths of a second separating the front row. Can anybody stop the Byron JOHNSON train that we've been seeing so far this season? He's not the only race winner that we've had so far this year. Harrison Day, of course, he took 2 victories at Lid rather, but of course, unfortunately, he broke a bone, wasn't able to take part at the last round in Landau. And, well, I've just seen, you may have just seen my co-commentator Lewis going absolutely mental in the commentary box as we briefly appeared on the camera. But let's see what is going to happen. What do you think is going to happen in this race as we wait and see the riders pulling up onto the grid? The marshals and the parents waiting to say their last words of wisdom to their young riders out there, which will probably be of you've got this, go get him, maybe a bit more stronger language for some of the more select individuals in the paddock. But we'll have to wait and see what happens as we wait for the AC40 Pros, race 1 of the weekend for the pros. And this is a class that always delivers in both talent and racing. Arch O'Brien dominated last season. Byron JOHNSON was seemingly wants to do a similar thing. Can anybody stop him? His main rival starting right behind him in P3, Harrison Day. As you wait, the lights go on. Oh, it's a massive jump start there. The lights go off, a jump start for someone at the back, but it's a great start from the inside for Sam Gardner. Not a great start for Harrison Day, unfortunately, but Sam Gardner takes the lead from second position. Byron JOHNSON trying to look away to this. Sam Gardner, who's taken the lead of the race. Byron JOHNSON already poking a nose up the inside, but unable to make the gap appear just yet. Mathew THOMAS following them as well. There goes Byron JOHNSON down the inside into the Holmes hairpin with a fantastic move. He squeezes back past Sam Gardner into the lead of the race, and Byron JOHNSON retakes the lead. Wasn't the best start in the world for him, but he's managed to get back up to P1. A great start. Sam Gardner in P2. Harrison Day following now in P3.
Yeah, it wasn't, and I tell you who it wasn't a good start for, and that is Liam LINDQUIST. I believe he jumped the start and he grabbed the brakes again to try and get his stop, but it was too late. So Byron JOHNSON leads the way, and he's already bridged a pretty good gap from Sam Gardner. So now maybe he's already going to be thinking of just one lap in this race of it trying to control the race. But it's Mathew THOMAS who is the fastest lap of the race with a 57.4, which is pretty fast straight out the gate. But Byron JOHNSON, of course, brother of Austin JOHNSON, is going to be wanting to try and repeat the race wins that he has had this season. But Sam Gardner, of course, had quite a heavy crash at round 1 of the championship, and he's managed to come back from that stronger than ever, actually, it appears, by straight away being back on the pace. Even at Lids, he was straight back on the pace after his incident. But it is Byron JOHNSON who leads the way. Chloe Gleeson is up to 7th place after getting overtaken by Jensen BISHOP and Oliver Hall. It's had quite a lonely race so far, staying in 9th. But that is not a bad result. But Olly O'GORMAN, actually, from the start, is up to 11th place from 14th. So he's made an awesome start from Olly O'GORMAN. Hopefully he's made aiming for a top 10 and just try pile on that pace. But it's Byron JOHNSON who leads the way with a best lap of a 54.532 with a 1 point. Adds that Sam Gardner has crashed out of second place. That's going to help Byron JOHNSON. Byron JOHNSON will not know just yet that Sam Gardner's not there, but Sam Gardner rejoins this race. He is perfectly okay, but now that is absolutely valuable championship points lost and valuable positions lost in this race. It's really leaving us to wonder how much positions has he lost and how much damage limitation can he do.
Oh, what a big shame for Sam Gardner there going down. That promotes Mathew THOMAS and Harrison Day into the podium place, and I feel like Harrison Day is another rider that I just want to take a brief moment to talk about, much in the vein of Harry Payne earlier. Of course, Harrison is not just him with his family. Obviously, been through a lot the last few weeks. Obviously, he had his accident at Clandau, breaking a bone, and then of course, unfortunately, his father Josh, a BSB rider, having a horrific accident just a few weeks ago. And was in hospital, and it was actually very touch and go for quite a while. And he's here today at the circuit. We interviewed him early. You can see that tomorrow if you're tuning in. And, it is great to see him up on his feet. Great to see him here supporting his son as the now mechanic role has had to adapt for a little while. And obviously, we hope Josh, the speediest of recoveries, and hope that he's able to get back on the bike as quickly as possible. And it's great to see Harrison as well. After I know their family's been through a lot, and his dad Josh, he was telling me, about how Harrison actually is more nervous for him about how his dad's doing than about how he's going to do out this weekend. When he went out for practice, it was apparently he was just struggling just thinking about it. So it's great to see him up in P3 as well. Got a few moves further up the pack. Chloe Bishop moving up to P6 as well. Of course, the first female pole sitter in FAB-Racing history last year when she managed to nab the pole position at Clandau in the rookies class. Byron JOHNSON still streaking away. Mathew THOMAS in P2. And Chloe Gleeson in P6. So great stuff from her there as well. Oliver Hall in P9 as well, your AC40 rookie champion from last season. He's taking he's still trying to get used to this little bit faster pros bike. Of course, it's a little bit less restricted, a little bit more power. He's still easing his way into this season. We know, of course, Oliver is a fantastic rider, as proved by his brilliant results in the Rookies Championship last season. So I'm sure he's just still warming up. There's still plenty more to come from that young man. Just you wait. But he's currently in P9, still in the top 10. So it's a good race so far for him. But with 5 laps to go, Byron Johnson still in the way. 5.7 second gap is the way back to Mathew Thomas. The Byron Johnson is still absolutely, well, I mean, you said it earlier about another rider, but he's in a different postcode at the moment in this championship. He's looking to make it 4 race wins in a row as he sets the fastest lap of 54.215. About 7/10 off the lap record. Of course, these mini motors haven't quite been all over the lap records in this warmer conditions this year that the larger GP bikes have. But it is safe to say Byron Johnson streaking away at the front.
Yeah, as in Jensen BISHOP is in a big battle here for 6th place, I believe. And Sam Gardner is also involved in this. Sam Gardner just getting up the inside of Jensen BISHOP, actually. And that is another move there from the 25 bike and of GLEESON. And this is just going to hold them up. And this is not what Sam Gardner wants, really, whenever you're involved in such a tight battle, is that he's going to be bridging, well, the gap's going to get even more and even more to the bikes in front of him, and it's going to leave even less of a chance, because this has slowed down Sam Gardner, actually, to 56-second lap times. And, well, this is not what you want, just 3 laps to go. It's not been a great race for Sam Gardner, but Byron Johnson is set another fastest lap of the race with a 54 dead. And as Ross mentioned, they've not met lap records just yet, and that is just with the high winds and these little bikes of little riders. There's not too much weight, and that is Jensen BISHOP diving at the inside and going wide with GLEESON, and GLEESON and Jensen BISHOP is in a fierce battle, which is going to work wonders for Sam Gardner, who is up into 6th place.
Yeah, great stuff there. Now only 5/10 of a second off the lap record is Byron Johnson. Some action further down the pack as well. Mathew Thomas and Harrison Day with 3 to go, still rounding out the podium position. Liam LINDQUIST has shot his way through. He is currently running a very, very strong P4. Lewis Hull not far behind in P5, and Sam Gardner as well is making his way back through the pack. After that tumble earlier on, he did lead the race briefly at the first lap. It was a shame to see him go down, but now he's showing that he can fight back through the pack. And to be fair, sometimes, going down while in the championship perspective, it's not the, obviously ideal, but sometimes it also is a way to showcase your skills, because it showcases what you can do coming back through a pack, and that is really, really important. When you get, higher up, into motorsport, often, sometimes on our 4-wheeled variant, which shall not be named, sometimes you get reverse grid races. The entire point of that is about, to get riders coming through the pack. And, it's great to see here, Sam Gardner once again streaking his way through.
Yeah, as Sam Gardner, he's just done what he's just doing what he knows what to do. And Sam Gardner up into 4th place. Can he get a podium? But it's Harrison Day that is in 3rd place that he needs to try bridge a gap to. That is a tough task in itself. Just 1 lap to go. Byron Johnson leads the way by a humongous gap right now. We're just waiting for 2nd place across the line to start their final lap, being Mathew Thomas, who will be absolutely delighted with that result. But it's 12.1 second gap. It's all in Byron Johnson's hand, and Harrison Day and Sam Gardner are still got a decent sized gap. So I think the podium may be decided if all riders can make it cleanly for this last lap. But it's Byron Johnson, who's been highly impressive all race. He's made no mistake. He's forced Sam Gardner into a mistake and forced Sam Gardner to push so hard that he's fallen off, but Sam Gardner has kept a cool head and got back up into 4th place. But it's Byron Johnson who comes into the final sector to come round the final corner now to take the checker flag and the race victory in the race 1 of the AC40 Pros. Byron Johnson wins the race by a massive gap. We wait for Mathew Thomas to come to the line in the bright green bike, but it's Byron Johnson who's absolutely delighted. He's got his visor open because it's scorching here in Suffolk.
It absolutely is a very, very warm day, even with the winds. They're not too high, but they're high enough to cause trouble for all these Minimoto machines. But a great result there for Byron Johnson. He'll be absolutely delighted with that. Almost 14 seconds up the line. Absolutely dominant. There you can see our top 3, Byron Johnson, Mathew Thomas, and Harrison Day back on the podium. after that injury and after everything their family's been through. That is a fantastic result. I'm sure that all of his family will be so delighted by that, and to see him, easing his way back in, that is brilliant stuff for Harrison Day. But it is Byron Johnson taking yet another brilliant victory. Sam Gardner, to be fair to him, did manage to squeeze it back into P4 right at the end after that tumble, so that's great for him. Jensen Bishop as well up to P5. Liam LINDQUIST, unfortunately, I think he had a tumble coming through the Won't hairpin and fell down to P6 after a very strong ride. But we've seen some great performances here in the AC40 Pros. What a fantastic race we've just seen. Race 1, there is your race winner, Byron Johnson, and here is your top 10 with Mathew Thomas coming home in P2. Harrison Day finishes and rounds out the podium in P3. Sam Gardner managed to get up to P4 in the end after that tumble. Jensen Bishop was P5. Liam LINDQUIST unfortunately dropping to P6. Chloe GLEESON is in P7. Oliver Hall in P8. Lewis Hull in P9. And Callum MAXWELL rounding out the top 10. And then behind them, Dylan TOERIEN, Rex Austin, Olly O'GORMAN and George AKERMAN rounding out the field. What a great race we've just seen there in the AC40 Pros. And of course, plenty more action to come.
On the road to MotoGP, this is FAB-Racing.
And now then, it is time for race 2 for the AC40 Pro class. This is the last chance on paper that the riders have to really learn how to ride an air-cooled bike and learn before they move on up to the liquid-cooled Minimotos and onto the Grand Prix bikes in the future. And well, once again, we're going to have a very close race, I'm sure. Race 1, lots of action and lots of drama throughout. Of course, Byron Johnson, he's been dominating this championship so far. You can see him on the right-hand side of your screen in that number 37 yellow and blue leathers. Alongside him, Sam Gardner was supposed to be there, but I'm struggling to see him on the grid. Apparently he's in the holding area. Hopefully he gets out that quick, because actually if you don't make it out of the holding area in time, you can actually get a penalty. So hopefully not. Harrison Day as well behind. It's great to see him back on the bike. Of course, we mentioned in race 1 the tough time that the Day family has gone through recently, so it's great to see Harrison Day there in the pink helmet on the left-hand side of your screen, coming back after a broken arm and after a horrible accident for his father as well over in BSB, who is here in the paddock with us this weekend. It's great to have you here, Josh, and great to see you up on your feet. And of course, we hope you're back on the bike as soon as possible. And it's great to see Harrison getting on with the job. Now he's back from his broken arm.
Yeah, it certainly is, and he's straight back on the pace, which is the best thing to say. I mean, he's qualified third of the grid, which to anyone that is highly respectable, but just the fact that he's coming back from such an injury and straight away, and so much will be going on inside his head, and now he's ready for race 2 today. And yesterday in race 1 it went pretty well for him. I mean, you can't really expect too much, but now they're just on the warm-up lap, and obviously Byron Johnson will be starting in pole position from Sam Gardner. Harrison Day, as we mentioned, starting in 3rd with Mathew Thomas in 4th. Jensen Bishop, good qualifying for him, was starting 5th, and Lewis Hull in 6th. Chloe GLEESON, one of our female runners, will be starting 7th with Liam LINDQUIST, who I believe did get a jump start yesterday, will be starting in 8th. Oliver Hall will be starting in 9th, and Callum MAXWELL in 10th. George AKERMAN will be starting in 11th with Dylan TOERIEN in 12th. Rex Austin will be starting 13th, and Olly O'GORMAN rounding off the grid in 14th. Of course, KBC O'Gorman's brother Olly also racing at FAB. It's become a family tradition for them.
Absolutely has. Just important to know, actually, Liam LINDQUIST, of course, not taking part in this race. He doesn't take part in race 3's, only race 1 and race 2, of course. So apologies to any Liam LINDQUIST friends, fans or family. This is race 2. I'm getting ahead of myself. Apologies. I was thinking that we'd done all the race 2's by now. We've still got another few left to go. I do apologise. So Liam LINDQUIST still on the grid, my mistake, and so he'll be getting all the action. As you said though, Olly O'GORMAN, Casey O'Gorman's brother, of course. Casey's gone on to do stun the world with his Mundas. Maybe that'll be something that Olly O'GORMAN doing in the future as well. But now lining up, Byron Johnson sets his eyes forwards on the pole position. It's been a dominant season so far for Byron, and I'm sure that he'll be wanting to put another win onto his list so far. Got a last few teething problems on the grid for seems from one of the bikes at the back. I believe on Olly O'GORMAN, just making sure that everything is okay. Now the marshal walking away. The green flag goes up at the back of the grid, and the flag marshal at the front moves out of the way. There you can see Roger Keys preparing to put the red lights on. And red lights off, we're underway. It's a very good start from Sam Gardner. Once again, he slides to the inside and gets the lead from Byron JOHNSON. He did that in race 1. He's done it again in race 2. How could Byron JOHNSON respond further back? Harrison Day manages to hold on to P3. Mathew Thomas slots in behind in P4. There's a few riders moving about here and there, but overall, Sam Gardner leading the way on the first lap of the race. You can see Mathew Thomas challenging Harrison Day to the outside, but unable to make the gap appear for the time being. But he's all over the back of that pink helmeted young rider, but it is Sam Gardner leading this race.
Yeah, Byron JOHNSON straight away is just trying to fight anyway.
There it goes.
Very
through the lead.
race and in the lead of the race now. Now it's all about, will Sam Gardner be able to keep his pace? It looks like it from what we've seen across the weekend. It looks like Sam Gardner does have the pace to keep with him, and this could turn into a very, very good race because there's nothing between these two riders. The bikes are so small, the riders are so small. They're watched down the straight, getting everything tucked in, trying to find any way past Sam Gardner, dipping into the slipstream there, but cannot find any way past. But it's still Byron JOHNSON who leads the way.
It is indeed. Managed to escape past Sam Gardner with a brilliant late braking manoeuvre down into the hairpin at the back end of the track. That being Barney's hairpin. He now leads the way from pole position. But again, as you said, we know that Sam Gardner has got a lot of pace on board that bike. He's managed to kind of be up there all weekend long, and he's still going to be challenging, I'm sure, for this race victory. But Byron JOHNSON back in control. Harrison Day still maintaining onto P3 as well. It's been a good weekend for him so far, but he's still facing pressure from Mathew Thomas, who set the fastest lap of the race on that first lap. And hopefully he can still try and apply that pressure. But it is Byron JOHNSON that is leading the way, as Mathew Thomas, I think, may have had a fall as they come round to cross the line now. So you should be seeing, yeah, that's Harrison Day. Mathew Thomas nowhere to be seen. He's had a fall coming through Barney's hairpin. So Mathew Thomas, I think he might be out of the race, unfortunately for him. So the pressure on Harrison Day eased monumentally as Lewis Hull is promoted up to P4. Liam LINDQUIST, Oliver Hall, Jensen BISHOP also moving up places. Chloe GLEESON now in P8 as well. Of course, the first female pole sitter in FAB-Racing history after a great pole at the final round of Clandau in 2021 in the rookies class. There we can see some fighting going on in that mid-pack. Hull, LINDQUIST, Hall and BISHOP having a right scrap coming through the middle sector. Very, very close between a lot of them. Obviously, Oliver Hall, the rookies champion from last year, he's making great progress and he's diving down the inside into Barney's. Gets the move done on Liam LINDQUIST. He moves up into P5. But Lewis Hull ahead is Liam LINDQUIST. He's not taking no for an answer. He's challenging once again, but unable to make the gap appear. So it is still in P4, Lewis Hull from Oliver Hall now in P5. But Byron JOHNSON still leading this race with 6 laps to go.
Yeah, he is, and they're still not too far from the lap record now. It's definitely closer than what we've seen over the course of the weekend. A 54.2, less than a second off the lap record now. Sam Gardner now a 1.5 seconds back from Byron JOHNSON. So Byron JOHNSON, he's clearly pushing on. He's the only person in the 54s, but this battle is raging on with Liam LINDQUIST and Jensen BISHOP on your screen right there. And it's great to see so many battles all the way out for the field. I mean, Oliver Hall, of course, the rookie champion, and he's down.
That's a big accident for Oliver Hall. Into the tyre barrier's bike, spiraling. If he's up on his feet, that is great to see. There's Daniel Hall, his father there with him, making sure he's okay, but Oliver Hall, thankfully, up on his feet, he's all okay, and they're actually bringing the bike over as well. I think the bike, magically, is all right. I'm not sure if Oliver Hall's going to get back off. Daniel giving it a good old shove, trying to get that thing going again, because that was a big old shunt for Oliver Hall, and it's great to see him up on his feet. And there, Oliver Hall re-enters the race. How about that after a massive crash? Oliver Hall back on the bike and back going again. Of course, he's dropped down the order significantly, but he's still going to be finishing, potentially still pulling in points as well with 5 laps to go. Byron JOHNSON still leading the way from Sam Gardner and Harrison Day, though. That also eases the pressure on Lewis Hull as we see some battles further back in the pack as well, as they come round through the middle sector. I believe that is Jensen BISHOP there with Liam LINDQUIST behind, heading through the first corner. Wow, talk about luck there for Oliver Hall. That could have been a very broken motorcycle there, but he's managed to get back on and managed to continue, and up on his feet as well. Great to see.
Yeah, it certainly is. I mean, his dad took the time and effort just to check that it was okay before he put them back on the motorcycle, which is exactly what you want to see. I mean, just check everything's okay with him, and then attend to the motorcycle and try to get started, and then check that he is ready and he wants to go back on the motorcycle, which he did. And now it's really just trying to salvage some points for Oliver Hall. Of course, last year's rookie champion, so he clearly got some pace. At this track, he got a clean sweep last year. All 3 wins went to him, but now he's in the pro class. He's still learning. He's still trying to get faster, and he definitely has potential. I mean, he's testing at the Mini GP 50s and he's looking great already. But Byron JOHNSON, he's put the lead up to 2.7 as this battle still rages on with Jensen BISHOP. And there's your leader right in your picture there, going through the final couple of corners to then make it just 3 laps to go in this race. And he's constantly just getting time away from Sam Gardner. But Sam Gardner last lap did set his personal best with 54.9, and now he's just set a 54.8, so now it's 3.2 second gap. So it's a great race so far. Byron JOHNSON leads the way. Byron JOHNSON is still keeping his cool. It takes a lot of mental strength to be able to do this. In this lead, you know you've got in the bag. He's also racing in the Mini 50s this weekend, Mini GP 50s. So he's getting extra track time around this track. It's really starting to pay off. And then you see Oliver Hall now getting lapped, of course, after his crash from Byron JOHNSON. But there's a rider just in front of Oliver Hall, so it's not all over for him.
Yeah, exactly. There's still an opportunity, of course. 3 laps to go, and here in FAB-Racing, you know, it's a very volatile racing all the time. You know, positions change lap after lap, corner after corner. You know, it's great to see, obviously, Oliver back on the bike and, you know, not hurt, and the bike not damaged either. And it's great to see. And of course, with 2 laps to go, there is your leader, Byron JOHNSON. Conditions getting trickier out there because the wind has definitely picked up. The sun is still out, still very on, but the wind it's a lot stronger. You can tell if you look at the flags at the side of the circuit as they're coming in to the final section, you can tell it's getting very stronger there. So for these Minimoto guys especially, I mean, they're light riders, obviously very, very young on light bikes. So, you know, it can really upset them and it can really cause them some problems. So that's maybe something to consider as this race starts to come towards its conclusion. As Byron JOHNSON, lapping traffic, very brave around the outside there, coming through the right-hander of Clinton's. That was a mega move. And, coming through the last section now is Byron JOHNSON. It's been another dominant performance so far. 3 seconds was the gap last time round as he comes through the penultimate corner. Clapping from the crowd already. They seem pretty confident. I wonder if someone thinks it's the final lap. Not quite yet. There is the yellow flag with the black stripe, meaning it's the final tour. It is the last lap of the race, this time by Byron JOHNSON extending the gap. It's 4 seconds now, and it's another fantastic performance from the number 37.
Yeah, it certainly is, and you see them getting past Mathew THOMAS, who of course did not have the race he wanted. He had a crash himself, but he's back on the bike, and it's great to see so many riders getting straight onto their feet, straight back on the motorcycle, and it's really showing their mental strength and their capability on the motorcycle. But talking about capability, Byron JOHNSON is showing his capability this race. He has a 4-second lead. He just needs to stay on the bike. I mean, it's such an impressive ride. He's going to be absolutely delighted. Just 3 corners left. He takes the hairpin absolutely perfectly. He flips over to the left for the penultimate corner, as then he cracks open the throttle, puts it on the right hand side of the tyre, waits for check flag to be waved, and there it is. He wins the race in a dominant fashion by over 4 seconds. That was an incredible ride by Byron JOHNSON. 4.5 seconds to the line. He will be ecstatic with that result, and I do not blame him. Harrison Day comes home in 3rd place. A great ride from him. He made a couple of positions, and that is exactly what you want. I mean, great ride from Harrison Day, and all the top 3, to be honest, and Jensen BISHOP and Lewis Hull were battling all the way to the line, but it looks like Jensen BISHOP did get it, and there's your confirmation of the top 3. Byron JOHNSON takes a race win from Sam Gardner and Harrison Day. Great ride from Byron. It was a dominant fashion. We've seen it before, and we'll probably end up seeing it again. He's so confident on his motorcycle. Yeah,
he's been absolutely on it this season so far, and a great ride once again from Byron JOHNSON. He takes a commanding victory here in race 2 for the AC40 Pros, and there just to confirm him as your victor with 4.5 seconds at the line, followed by Sam Gardner and Harrison Day. Another great podium on his return to FAB. Jensen BISHOP came home in P4 with Lewis Hull in P5. Chloe GLEESON, great result there for her in P6 with Liam LINDQUIST. He won't be appearing anymore. He was still here in this one, but that was his last race for the weekend, unfortunately for him. But a good result there in P7, followed by Dylan TOERIEN, George AKERMAN and Rex Austin to round out the top 10. But yeah, what a great race that we've just seen there in the AC40 Pros there, Lewis. I mean, again, a great performance from Byron JOHNSON.
Yeah, it certainly was. I mean, it was a great ride, and it's a great ride also from Sam Gardner. He did keep him honest, although it was a 4.5 second gap. He was still doing the 54 second lap times, which is extremely fast. Just slightly off the pace of Byron Johnson, but he'll be definitely going back to the drawing board just to see what he can do, because Byron Johnson less than a second off the lap record.
Let's go! The official BSB Partner Series. This is FAB-Racing.
Well then, here we are, race 3 for the AC40 Pros. This is it. This is the final race of the weekend. It's the one where everything matters so much as they head out onto the dummy grid. This is the one they all want to win. I mean, we've seen a couple of fantastic races in the AC40 categories. Byron Johnson against Sam Gardner, and I'm sure we're going to see it once again, but maybe someone's going to launch a surprise. We've seen in some other of the final races so far that, we've seen some unexpected results here and there, so who knows what's going to happen. But the AC40 Pros safety, we've had a brilliant weekend's racing so far. I'm sure race 3 is going to cap it off.
Yeah, certainly. I think it will as well. I mean, Byron Johnson, he's had a mixed weekend. He's had a good weekend overall, I would say. I mean, he can't really be too displeased. Obviously, racing the AC40 Pros and the LC40 Elites. And his last race, which was in the LC40 Elites, he did have a small tip-off, but it does not look like it's affected his confidence. He looks ready right now, starting in pole position. Sam Gardner, another great weekend for him as well. Obviously, at the start of the season, he did have that quite a big off at Lid, but he's came back stronger than ever, starting second place in the grid. I mean, these top 3 in your picture right now, they are so fast for just kids, and it's exactly what I like to see. These are the kids of the future. These are the middleweight class, I guess you could say, of the junior mini motos. They are exactly what you want to see. These are talents. And now Byron Johnson will start in pole position for the last race of the weekend. Sam Gardner in second place. Harrison Day on the second row of the grid will be starting in third, with Mathew Thomas, who's had quite a successful weekend on his bright lime green bike, will be starting fourth. Jensen BISHOP in fifth. Lewis Hull in sixth. Chloe Gleeson, another one of our female riders, will be starting seventh, and Liam LINDQUIST, I do not think will be starting this race, but he should have been starting in 8th. Oliver Hall will be starting in 9th, and Callum MAXWELL in 10th. George AKERMAN in 11th, and Dylan TOERIEN in 12th. Rex Austin will be starting 7th row in 13th, and Olly O'GORMAN will be rounding off the grid and will be starting in 14th position. Yep. It's been great. It's been great racing all weekend, as it has been in all the classes, and hopefully all the riders will be gunning it out for the final race of the weekend.
Yeah, absolutely. I think one rider who perhaps gunning it a little bit more perhaps would be Sam Gardner. He's had 2 fantastic starts so far this weekend, and ultimately it's wound up to not end up with a race win, and I'm sure that he would love to cap off round 3 of the FAB-Racing British Minibike Championship here at Ellough Park with a win in race 3. So we'll have to wait and see. The last few riders coming up to the grid, of course. Last bits of words of advice from some parents. There you can just see a few of them. You can see on the left-hand side as well, or now in the centre of your screen, Roger Keys, the race director here at FAB-Racing, getting ready to do the lights, because the light box is on the outside of the race control room for reasons. Here we go then. It's time for race 3, and it's time to get going. The flag marshals move out of the way, and it is red lights on, red lights off. We're underway. It's a great start from Byron Johnson. That being said, Sam Gardner once again sweeps down the inside for the 3rd time. Sam Gardner takes the lead at turn 1. How can Byron Johnson respond? Can Sam going to hold on to it this time? Who knows? It will be Harrison Day in P3, Mathew Thomas in P4, but another fantastic start there from Sam Gardner. But Byron Johnson already looks at the inside. He squeezes through. A great move from Byron Johnson. That was perfectly timed. He saw that Gardner was running wide and just hit the brakes, brought it in and swept through. But how can Sam Gardner stick on the tail? Is Byron Johnson going to do what Byron Johnson does best and shoot off into the distance once again?
Yeah, I mean, it was a great start once again from Sam Gardner, but Byron Johnson, just his raw pace shown there, and now he's going to try bridge gap, but Sam Gardner will not let him escape. He knows this is the last race of the weekend for the AC40 Pros. Obviously, a lot of these riders will still go out for the LC40 Elites, so it may not be the last race of the weekend, but they all want to win this. I mean, it's so important, and it was a great start actually from Mathew Thomas in 3rd place on that distinct bright green bike, and Byron Johnson leads the way. Obviously, Byron looks very, very similar to his brother Austin on the bike, so luckily it's just one of the brothers in this class and not too confused about it. It looks like Mathew Thomas was looking down the inside there of Sam Gardner. Sam Gardner make sure there's no way past, and Sam Gardner actually overall this weekend, he has impressed me. Although he's not got the raw results, he's been there or thereabouts for the race win consistently in every single session. And Byron Johnson, he's been great. I mean, he's had a tip off this weekend, but straight away back on it, and the confidence that he's shown has just been immense. And the confidence all his riders showed in Harrison Day, actually talking about confidence, is rebuilding his confidence after his crash last round out. He's up into 4th place. Can he get another podium this weekend? Yeah, it's just great to see so many young riders. And actually, Mathew Thomas has set the fastest lap of the race. They're all in 59.4s. These top 3 have nothing between them. I think we have a race in our hands here, Ross.
Oh, I think we do already. Sam Gardner looking, smelling for a move up the inside. See if he can find anything, any chink in Byron Johnson's arm. I mean, we've seen so far. Oh no, he's run really wide. Sam Gardner, I think he lost the front of the bike coming through O'Rossi, and he's run really wide. Mathew Thomas has slid through. I thought I did see a wobble just before the camera panned away, and he's run really wide, and that maybe has allowed Byron Johnson the gap that he needs, unless Mathew Thomas can get onto the back end of him once again. What a shame there for Sam Gardner, but he's still pushing Byron Johnson. I think I just made a little mistake there, because Mathew Thomas is still right with him. As you said, we've got a race in our hands here. Byron Johnson has not done what we expect him to do. We expect him to shoot off once again, but no, 3-way fight for the lead here with 6 laps to go. Race 3 of the AC40 Pros here. This is about to go off.
Yeah, Mathew Thomas setting the fastest lap of the race that time round with a 54.9, 2 tenths faster than Byron Johnson. So it certainly looks like Mathew Thomas has the pace. Can Mathew Thomas have a surprising victory? Who knows? There's 6 laps to find out though, and there's Harrison Day on your screen, as we were just talking about a couple laps ago, just rebuilding his confidence. And look at that confidence he already has back of that motorcycle. It's so great to see. His distinct bright pink helmet. I mean, it's so easy to see some of these riders on track and make it easier for us, but yeah, he's just tipping it into the corners, placing it on his knee. He looks perfect this weekend, but Byron Johnson has also looked perfect this weekend, but it looks like he does have competition this time round. And there is Mathew Thomas looking down the inside. Can he make a move? No, he cannot. But Byron Johnson just shuts the door, but Mathew Thomas will get down the inside that turn 2, and he can still not make a move. He's struggling to find the way past. It's one thing catching someone, it's another thing making the pass. But Mathew Thomas setting another fastest lap of the race with a 54.3, still a bit off the lap record, but it's extremely fast for this race. I mean, fastest lap, and there's the rider down.
Yeah, rider down there seems to be up on their feet, so hopefully all okay. But there's still Byron Johnson this way. Mathew Thomas putting big pressure on. Sam Gardner, unfortunately, has faded away from this lead battle just a little bit. So it's now a 2-way fight for the lead with 5 laps left to go, and Mathew Thomas is looking like he's got a huge amount of pace on board that bike, and he's looking for a move into the fight. Oh, almost into the penultimate corner, and that is now going to compromise him all the way down the front stretch. So now he's got to build up once again, but that would have been a fantastic move if he'd have made it. I think we just saw there Byron Johnson just being wary of what was going to happen, closing the door, but Mathew Thomas, he is still pushing on that 128 bike. So he's running slightly wider lines than Byron Johnson through the big sweeping corners through the middle, which is really interesting. It allows him to carry a lot more speed on the straight. And obviously in these Minimotos, it's all about momentum. It's all about keeping your speed as high as you can, and that's what Mathew Thomas is seemingly doing absolutely superbly here. And he's challenging Byron Johnson, and Byron Johnson's potential, fantastic weekend of racing, could be spoiled at the very last minute.
Yeah, Byron Johnson just fighting back with a personal best lap, so he knows that he needs to push and try as hard as he can. You can hear the crowd in the background cheering on Byron Johnson, Mathew Thomas and Sam Gardner. Sam Gardner still there. There's the decent sized gap, but he's still there to fight and bite. But there is Mathew Thomas at the fast lap of the race and try to dive down the inside. It's a 54.2 that time round, getting closer and closer to the lap record as we go on. But Mathew Thomas is trying absolutely everything that time round. 46 thousandths of a second separating the top 2 riders. This is why we go racing. This is close racing. There's nothing between them. These are almost equal machinery. Nothing between them, and they're trying absolutely everything. They tuck in every single part of their body to try and get as slipstream as possible. Because as you see there, 46 thousandths of a second, that is nothing. That is why they tug in their legs. Every single thing counts in these Minimotos. They're trying absolutely everything. You can hear the crowd once again shouting as we go round to the hairpin. And Byron Johnson still leads the way, still nothing. Once again, as Mathew Thomas looking down the inside but cannot make it work. We head round the final corner to make it just 2 laps to go. Just 2 laps to go to the race. Mathew Thomas looks up the inside and he makes a move for the race leads. Mathew Thomas leads. Mathew Thomas takes control of this race, but Byron Johnson, does he have anything in the tank? This is the final 2 laps of the race. Mathew Thomas runs extremely wide, but Mathew Thomas shuts the door. But Byron Johnson dives down the inside and sets up Mathew Thomas. Byron Johnson takes the race lead. There's nothing between them. They are almost identical on lap times. They are making each other's lives very, very difficult right now. It's Mathew Thomas who leads the way with just 2 laps to go.
What a race we've got on our hands. Mathew Thomas, he's been improving race by race. He had nothing at Lid, then a host of podiums at Glendow, and now he is fighting for his first AC40 Pro race win here at FAB Racing. But Byron Johnson, as they come onto the final lap of the race, he wants to cap off his weekend with a great win. But Mathew Thomas is trying to line up a win, line up an overtake rather, into the same place. No, Byron Johnson is wary of his defensive moves, but Mathew Thomas, he's on the throttle so early. He's trying to sweep around the outside. Oh no! Later on the brakes is Byron Johnson and Mathew Thomas. They're still side by side through the corner. Oh no! A huge high side for Mathew Thomas. He gets up and runs back to his bike. Great to see that he's up on his feet. But oh, what a shame for Mathew Thomas. A huge high side coming out of Shoemaker's corner. Byron Johnson will win this race as the yellow flags are. Oh, Mathew Thomas got the wind knocked out of him there. Hopefully he's all okay. He was quick up to his feet, so we know he's okay. But Byron Johnson with an anticlimactic finish to this race, but it is a great win nonetheless. He absorbs all the pressure from Mathew Thomas and retaking the lead when he needed to. Byron Johnson is going to win a brilliant race 3 in the AC40 Pros. What a superb victory, what a superb ride for Byron Johnson. Another win. He extends his lead at the top of the championship. He extends his winning streak as well. But oh, your heart has got to go out to Mathew Thomas. What could have been? Byron Johnson takes the victory. Sam Gardner in P2, Harrison Day rounding out the podium. But oh, Lewis, what a race we had there, and what a shame there for Mathew Thomas.
Yeah, the both riders won the absolute limit, and sadly sometimes that's just what happens. It's such a fine line in motorcycle racing to life going great and life going bad, and you being in the race and you being out. But Byron Johnson played it perfect. He was on the absolute limit though. To be fair to Mathew Thomas, he kept him honest, and Harrison Day comes home with a surprising podium, and they're just still trying to get a bike sorted, try maybe get it restarted, and I believe they're still just trying to get that started. But Byron Johnson, amazing ride. It's been a good ride all weekend, and well, once again another win from him. There's confirmation of that win, a 5.6 second gap it turned out to be from Sam Gardner. Coming home in 2nd place, Harrison Day rounding off the podium. Lewis Hull coming home in 4th, with Jensen BISHOP in 5th. Oliver Hall, obviously last year's rookie champion, 6th place. Chloe Gleeson coming home in 7th. Good ride from her. And Dylan TOERIEN in 8th, Rex Austin in 9th, Olly O'GORMAN, good ride for him, starting last place in 14th, but have finished out to round out the top 10.
And great to see that Mathew Thomas back on his feet. What a great performance there from him. A shame that it's a weekend that's heralded literal in results in reality. But Byron Johnson, what a weekend he's had, and caps it off with a fantastic win.
On the road to MotoGP, this is FAB Racing.